Hey, what's going on, family? Hey, just for YouTube purposes, this is gonna be a fair use and educational purpose video. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys enjoy it. Check it out.
Same time, if anybody attacks him, he believes in retaliating if it costs him his life. And it is good for white people to know this. Because if white people get the impression that Negroes all endorse this old turn the other cheek cowardly philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King, then whites are going to make the mistake of putting their hands on some black man thinking that he's going to turn the other cheek and he'll end up losing his hand and losing his life in the trial. So it is always better to let someone know where you stand.
Fíjate.
I love y'all. Salute to the tribe. You know, I'm at the telescope. You know, watching. Telescope channel. Telescope channel. And remember, they said it. Now we speaking on it. Now watching. Telescope channel. Telescope channel. Now watching. Telescope channel. Hey, what's going on, family and visitors? Peace and blessings to you all. Welcome to the Telescope channel. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell in the bottom corner. Here at the Telescope channel, we're going to be diving in from everything from music to religion, sports, and all other current events. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated. Let's go get it in.
And I quote, Middle Eastern powers are very sensitive to the weakening US power in the region. They've seen what Ukraine has experienced in the confrontation between NATO and Russia. So it would be very difficult for the US to use them to confront Iran and Russia in the regions. Well, the agenda is obvious, but hard to pinpoint a part of that paragraph that's actually wrong. Anyone who disputes that the Chinese view Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a test case is kidding themselves. There's no doubt. And Taiwan, well, they're sitting ducks. Yes, they might be inspired by the incredible Ukrainian resistance, but how much longer can they hold on? And what would war in our region mean here in Australia? I don't think any of us want to find out. Now back to Iran, who are supplying weapons to Russia, by the way. Whilst in Israel, Biden said he'd be prepared to use force to stop the Iranians from obtaining nuclear weapons.
Made it absolutely clear. We will not, let me say it again, we will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
I mean, anything else we have to be worried about? The world is an increasingly dangerous place, and a beefed up and nuclear-armed Iran should scare the living daylights out of us all. So should the fact that Vladimir Putin is apparently making a trip there this week to attend a trilateral meeting with the Iranian and Turkish president. According to the Global Times, it's to counter Biden's latest actions. The strength of the states in the world order is crucial to our survival. And under the Biden administration, it's weakening significantly. Not just from a political perspective, like the ill-timed US withdrawal out of Afghanistan, but personally, the president is not well. And that's genuinely very sad. Watch as he twice tries to shake the hand of someone who isn't there.
תודה לנשיא המדינה ולנשיא ארצות הברית. Thank you, President Herzog.
It is so sad, but it is also more terrifying. Our only hope, our only way forward is self-reliance. We need to be able to hold our own ground. Punch above our weight, yes. And we are running out of time to do so.
Stamping a product made in America. Companies are choosing to build their new factories here in America. When just a few years ago, as you all know, that wouldn't have been the case. They would have built the factory overseas. God bless you all.
And people, have you been to the grocery store lately? I'm going to ask that question. Look at the prices in today's grocery stores.
I go every week.
They're going to continue to rise if we don't fix the problem. $900 a ton. People, that's $900 a ton for fertilizer, a $25,000 fertilizer bill that we're looking at right now. Now is the time for America to come together and support America's farmers. We just provided relief for Ukraine, where we're going to be looking at some losses there in the form of wheat and other commodities, but we just provided Ukraine with $40 billion in aid, and nothing in that spending package for America's farmers. I know Chairman Scott was trying to work across some lines and get some things done. America has to come back together and work together by the same seam that is divided right now. We're divided here in our country on race. We're divided on bitterness and hatred. But, you know, love is always greater than hate.
This is where maybe we part ways politically. And there's no hate in my voice here. There's frustration that I'm feeling. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and I believe that's unnecessary. Right. I believe giving up American energy independence was one of the dumbest things this country's ever done. Begging OPEC, begging Iran, begging Venezuela, that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you agree with that. I don't. Fixing the supply chain and making sure that we have the fertilizer for hardworking farmers like you is unconscionable to me. You feed the entire country.
Well, you know, farmers are the last on the totem pole as far as getting recognition in this country. You know, we may not need a doctor or a lawyer today, but every day we need an American farmer in this country to help feed this country.
Is there something about nonviolence that made it, and I use that in the past tense, that made it more useful among Southern Negroes than the ghetto Negroes of the North?
I wouldn't say there's anything that makes it more useful to Southern Negroes. I think it is true that we've had more nonviolent movements in the South because the problem for many years was more crystallized and, in a sense, more visible in the South. We didn't have many civil rights activities on a massive scale in the North until 3 or 4 years ago. So I would say that we just haven't had a chance to experiment on a broad scale with nonviolence in the Northern ghetto. I have the feeling that nonviolence is as applicable and workable in the Northern ghetto as it is in the South. Now, there's a larger job there. The frustrations at points are much deeper. The bitterness is deeper. And I think that's because in the South we can see pockets of progress here and there. We've really made some strides that are very visible, and every Southern Negro knows that he can do things today that he couldn't do 4 or 5 years ago. Wherein in the North, the Negro sees only retrogress. And he doesn't find it as easy to get his vision centered on his target, the target of opposition, as he does in the South. Consequently, this is made for despair and at many points cynicism, a feeling that you can't win. And it simply means that we've got to develop in the North a massive job of organization and mobilizing forces and resources to deal with the problem in the urban ghettos of the North, just as we've done it in the South.
Well, in the South, particularly in Alabama, you had visible villains: Jim Clark, Bull Connor, cattle prods, police dogs. But in the North, you don't have those visible villains. Isn't it hard to get your people aroused and directed at something that isn't visible?
Well, that's exactly right, and this is what I was saying when I said it's harder to see a target. In the South, in the nonviolent movement, we were aided always, on the whole, by the brutality of our opponent. It isn't the same way in the North. The other thing is that you don't have legal segregation in the North as you do in the South. So it is much more difficult to get people to see it.
In fact, my counterpart, Bill Logan, who's a senator, was the head of the Iowa Bankers Association. Years later, I went and speak to one of their conventions. Well, anyway, I was on the Olympic team. And in the gold medal game, we beat the Soviet Union by 35 points. We were kind of mean guys. See, in the tournament, we played a team from Thailand, okay? Their center is 5'10". And so you would say, well, these guys are competition, let's just walk through it. No. Let's find out how bad we can beat these guys. We were going to try to beat them by 100 points. I don't think we got maybe to 80, 85. But I had a lot of fun. So after the Olympics, I went home, got married, and then went to Boston. And I had not talked to the Celtics before that. I was really an amateur. And I got there, and we had an idea of what it was going to be. It took about half an hour to work that out. And so in his 13 months, the Final Four, the Olympic gold, and my rookie year, we won the NBA. So we were in the college championship, the World Amateur Championships, and the Professional Championship in 13 months. And that's a pretty good run.
Is it true? Same time, if anybody attacks him, he believes in retaliating if it costs him his life. And it is good for white people to know this. Because if white people get the impression that Negroes all endorse this old turn the other cheek, cowardly philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King, then whites are going to make the mistake of putting their hands on some black man thinking that he's going to turn the other cheek and he'll end up losing his hand and losing his life in the trial. So it is always better to let someone know where you stand. And there are a large number of black people in who don't endorse anything of what Dr. Martin Luther King and these other 20th century religious Uncle Toms are putting in front of the public eye to make it look like this is the way, this is the behavior, or this is the thought pattern of most of our people. Also, this new type, you'll find, he doesn't look upon it as being any honor to be in America. He knows he didn't come here on the Mayflower. He knows he was brought here in a slave ship. But this 20th century Uncle Tom, he'll stand up in your face and tell you about when his fathers landed on Plymouth Rock. His father never landed on Plymouth Rock. The rock was dropped on him, but it wasn't dropped on him. So this type doesn't make any apology for being in America, nor does he make any apology for the problem his presence in America presents for Uncle Sam. He knows he was brought here in chains, and he knows he was brought here against his will. He knows that the problem itself was created by the white man, and that it was created because the white man brought us here in chains against our will. It was a crime. And the one who committed that crime is the criminal today who should pay for the crime that was committed. You don't put the crime in jail. You put the criminal in jail. And kidnapping is a crime. Slavery is a crime. Lynching is a crime. And the presence of 20 million black people in America against their will is a living witness or living testimony of the crime that Uncle Sam committed. Your forefathers committed when our people were brought here in chains. And the reason the problem can't be solved today is you try and dress it up and doctor it up and make it look like a favor was done to the black man by having brought the black man here. But when you realize that it was a crime that was committed, then you approach the solution to that problem in a different light, and then you can probably solve it. And as long as you think Negroes are running around here of the opinion that you're doing them a favor by letting them have some of this and letting them have some of that, well, naturally, every time you give a little bit more justice or freedom to the black man, you stick out your chest and say, see, we're solving the problem. You're not doing the black man any favor. If you stick a knife in my back, if you pull it in 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, you haven't done me any favor. If you put it all the way out, you haven't done me any favor. And this is what you have to realize. If you put a man in jail against his will, illegally, he's not guilty, you frame him up. And then because he resents what you've done to him, you put him in solitary confinement to break his spirit. After his spirit is broken, you let him out a little bit and give him the general run of the prison. You haven't done him any favor. If you let him out of prison completely, you haven't done him any favor because you put him in there unjustly and illegally in the first place. Now, you have 20 million black people in this country who were brought here and put in a political, economic, and mental prison. This was done by Uncle Sam. And today you don't realize what a crime your forefathers had committed. And you think that when you open the door a few cracks and give this little integration, an intoxicated Negro, a chance to run around in the prison yard, that's all he's doing, that you're doing him a favor. But as long as he has to look up to someone who doesn't represent him and who doesn't speak for him, that person only represents the warden. It doesn't represent some kind of president or mayor or governor or senator or congressman or anything else. So this new type, the fact has to be faced that he exists, especially since he's in the house. And he didn't come here against his will. So you have to take the blame for his being here. And once you take the blame, then it's easier for you to approach the problem more sensibly and try and get a solution. And the solution can never be based upon hypocrisy. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that this solution has to be based upon reality. Tokenism is hypocrisy. One little student in the University of Mississippi, that's hypocrisy. A handful of students in Little Rock, Arkansas, is hypocrisy. A couple students going to school in Georgia is hypocrisy. Integration in America is hypocrisy in the rawest form, and the whole world can see it. All this little tokenism that is dangled in front of the Negro, and then he's told, see what we're doing for you, Tom. Why, the whole world can see that this is nothing but hypocrisy, and all you do is make your image worse. You don't make it better.
Hey, look, check it out. So I'm going to do a little something different this time. I'm going to play a couple of videos because we got a couple of topics to go over, and we're going to cover them at the end. But remember, you're not watching Telescope Channel.
Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you. We teach you to love the hair that God gave you. Here you way out in the middle of the ocean, can't swim, and you worried about someone that's in the bathtub and can't swim. We don't steal, we don't gamble, we don't lie, and we don't cheat. And that also deprives the government of revenue, because you can't get into a whiskey bottle without getting past the government seal. You can't open a deck of cards without getting past the government seal. Here's a white man makes the whiskey and then puts you in jail for getting drunk. He sells you the cards and the dice and puts you in jail when he catches you using them. So he's against us because we fix it where he can't catch you anymore. We take the dice out of your hands and the cards out of your hands and the whiskey out of your head. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Salute, salute, salute. Blessings and peace to the tribe, man. I know how we do it, man. I got to comment on that statement out the gate, though. That statement was definitely, it probably was past tense, but in relevancy, speaking of relevancy now, man, the black man, or really black people in general, man, are the most targeted and unprotected people right now. But let's get into it. I mean, I got a couple of points. That I took down from watching the video. It was chaos, I know. Trust me, I'm getting better with my editing or whatever. But as watching this, y'all can see that it's definitely something that needs to be attended to. Now, the points that I got written down, coming off of the first story that y'all obviously seen before the skit of Malcolm, the Honorable Dr. X, you know what I'm saying? You seen this other doc, and that story was so crazy to the point where when you seen the whole Brazilian doctor or whatever, I want y'all to comment. In my comment section on that, like what y'all think about that, because that story is so crazy. I'm just gonna let y'all comment on that and tell me how y'all feel about that below. You feel me? Also, after that, you had the newscast lady that was talking about Joe Biden. My whole take on that was like, well, Joe Biden, whatever you want to call him. My whole take on that was that, China watching the Ukraine situation and all that other stuff. I really feel like, and if a lot of people don't know, like they really want to take over Taiwan. So that's the whole thing. Like they want to take over Taiwan because they want that positioning. And that would be really bad for, the U.S. as far as military defense issues or defense purposes and protocols and whatever you want to say to be political. But yeah, that'd be bad for their defenses because, the U.S. got Guam and then they got Hawaii. So that'd be bad for them, you know what I'm saying? And it's so close. Plus, China's not only trying to get Taiwan, but they're trying to get Taiwan because it's a very big, pretty much a big hub for nuclear activity and making nuclear, bombs and stuff like that. And this is why Joe Biden says, I won't let I won't let China get their hands on nuclear weapons. That's the reason why he said that. This video is going to be, I'm going to try to make it a little short because I don't want to make it like no 50-minute video that I'm just like posting for something like that. Like, I'll go live. But like if I'm going to post the video, it's going to be like 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops. I don't want to make it too long. You know what I'm saying? If this video right here happens to extend past that, then yeah, I probably won't be doing this on often. But the most videos y'all going to be seeing is like 35 minutes, 45 minutes tops on the page. And then live, I go live. Y'all see those type of videos. No hour videos on here yet. So I do like interviews and stuff. Now, and I wish I would have like punched in at the same time. I do wish I would have punched in at the same time while I was, taking down these notes. But still, y'all still know what I'm talking about because it's everybody got their own point. So I'm talking to different audiences, people that watch different things. Like this channel is not just for one person. It's not just for one type of demographic. It's not just for one niche of people. You probably cued into the Joe Biden and the politics side versus queuing into the black power and the reparations side and stuff like that. So it's like, it's for different people and stuff like that. Like everybody's welcome here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a platform for us to voice our opinion. And, really grateful that I'm being able to be the tool to do that, But check this out. So Taiwan right now is literally sitting ducks. Joe Biden, he actually acquires Iran with nukes. You know what I'm saying? So also that's why I feel like that could be it could be a hoax because with the whole like him forgetting that like he was shaking the air. And if you actually watch that video like y'all did, you'll see that he shook the air, and it was nothing but black people in the crowd. So he shook the air, and then like once he turned around, he did shake the air. I ain't gonna lie, he did it on 2 occasions, and once was actually over here in the States, and then the other was like outside of the country. But he did shake the air, and by him doing that, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like the first one that he shook the air over here with the black people, he shook the air, and he did a gun gesture like soon after, very, very soon after, which is very like eerie and spooky and weird in itself. But what was even more crazy was like right after he did that gun gesture to the people to his right, he had to go directly and exit out of that same way. So he could have been saying like, oh, do I go this way or do it like it could have been a signal for the Secret Service or whatever. Also, I want people to know that like they want you to think that Joe Biden is crazy and all of this stuff is going on when really it could be some covert stuff that's going on because it's being pushed in the media heavy, and I think that everybody's running with the same narrative. So I don't really believe that Joe Biden is crazy. That's my take on it. I think he's playing a role. They're trying to make a chess move. Yeah, and it seems like he's trying to finish out a chess move, but for the most part, man, I had a little slip of the tongue. I had like a little slight slip of the tongue or whatever when I spoke on Joe Biden. Now, what I meant to say is that I had happened to say that Joe Biden. I think I said that Joe Biden was giving nukes to the Iranians. No, that's not the case. Joe Biden doesn't want the Iranians to acquire nukes. That's what it is. That's factual. Joe Biden, or Joe Biden, whatever you want to call him, he doesn't want the Iranians to acquire these nukes. And then on top of that, you know, he also feels as if though, like, you know, allegedly and suspectedly that, you know, the Iranians may be supplying the Russians with nuclear weapons if they can't acquire them. You know what I'm saying? So this is the reason why all of these things are going on. Also, by Taiwan being sitting ducks in this whole mix, you know, China is trying to take over Taiwan so that they can get in control of that, you know, that base, so that they can have like that nuclear coverage in order to, you know, zap and take out at pretty much any time, you know, Guam or Hawaii, you know, and then you'll start to see it to roll over and flood into the U.S. if that is the case. But that's what they're talking about, you know, on the news and what you see. So that's why that was one of the big things. That's why I really posted that. A lot of people don't really understand the severity of that, but that's why I posted that. I didn't want to misconstrue any knowledge and anything, so that's why I went back on my notes. I won't have to go back and you know, check into that, slow down a little bit, you know. But back to what I was saying. Looking at this after you watch the Martin quote and you watch that speech, which was a beautiful speech. Both of them was a beautiful speech. All of them was a beautiful speech. But when you watch the speech that he gives, and then you also and then I play the farmer, which is in this relevant time. That farmer video is actually 2 months ago. That's 2 months ago. Then that video was like actually posted, and that was going on. So I feel like even when I'm listening to Martin back then, Martin Luther King back then, and then he says the word Negro, and how Martin is just like he's so calm, he's so like it's just so much humility there. It's so much intelligence and like honestly self-morality and integrity. Like, okay, like even if you is saying the word Negro, I'm not gonna stoop that low to like, you know, bash your head in or do anything. And I think that this is what I want to talk about. This is really the main cue. I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna get over it, but I think the publicity of people saying the word white, especially white people, people of non-black descent saying the word nigger, or nigger. I think that being put on TV and that being, you know, put like publicized or whatever, that's what's making it seem like it's so bad and stuff like that, quote unquote, so bad. But because people are not really saying that shit. Like, they might be saying it behind closed doors, but they're not saying it in these people's faces like that. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, like, everybody got racial slurs that they say behind closed doors, you know? So it makes me wonder and think, like, are these people really, even if you do have a racial bias or whatever, is there a bigger agenda? Are people really playing bigger on your heart? Like playing bigger on your racial bias? You know what I'm saying? Like, they know that you racist, but they playing more on that. They leaning more on the racist side to play on that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they're really fooling you. Like, so you think you getting over on black people or whoever you racist against, or white people, whoever you racist against, but they really getting over on you. The funny thing about that is like when people say nigga, it's like how this brother took that, how he took it so like, and even in those times, yes, those times were different. They were most definitely different. Like he would have to be susceptible to accepting that, because if he didn't, or he said he got kind of like a little rowdy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you in the South, them white boys will hang you. You know what I'm saying? He would have got hung back then. It would have been a little bit different. Even with the brother that was jogging down the street, y'all know his name, Ahmaud Arbery, the brother that was jogging down the street, and then they killed that brother and said that they thought he was breaking into a house or something like that. Come on. So these are a lot of situations and things that a lot of people don't cover, because it ain't no black news outlets. It's not nobody talking about the black people that are going through severe, you know what I'm saying, trauma and, you know, death and homicide and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that's going on in the community, but we don't know because the community don't talk. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no people that's doing really mainly what I'm doing. And the people that's doing what I'm doing, as a matter of fact, they going at each other. So for the most part, seeing all of this stuff, I just say, like, when you see somebody of another race or don't come from what you come from, saying the N-word, saying using that word, I mean, you can say the word nigga. It don't even much matter if you say the word nigga online. They don't even much care about that. You can't say other words, but and it's real messed up. But it's like, man, you see people saying that word, bro. It's like, don't even acknowledge it. Like, it ain't even no point to even get mad at it no more. Like, bro, it's so washed up, it's old. It's like your mama jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't even like, you feel me? So, moving on to the next topic. And also, bro, like, that brother Martin Luther King was very he had a lot of humility, and he was very intelligent. I like how he carried himself in that. But also, fun fact, I want to give y'all Bill Russell for my basketball lovers. And the reason why I put up Bill Russell is because he went through those times. Like, this man was talking about, like, Vietnam and, you know what I'm saying, beating them boys, and, you know what I'm saying, like, in Vietnam and stuff like that, and beating the Soviet Union. Like, when he said that made me go crazy, because I was like, yo, like, you ain't talking about, like, beating some average dudes, some average Joes from, some Joe Blows from New York or in Brooklyn or whatever, Boston or LA, Miami, or, Texas or whatever, any of the major cities. You know what I'm saying? You talking about like bringing back jewelry and bringing back gold and minerals and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I like that, man. Like, and this brother was FBA. This brother was the foundation of Black American. You know what I'm saying? The brother Bill Russell. You know what I'm saying? Born in West Monroe, Louisiana. Then they moved. Then they had that happen to move to Oakland. Later on, because the racism was so bad down here in the South. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people migrated. Either you migrated to the West Coast, or you migrated up there to the East, because the racism was so bad down here in the South. Like, they were putting it on these boys down here. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these black folks still stay, and that's why you have black folks down here. When you see people talking about Florida man, no, that's just a strong man. Like, it's just people got a certain mindset down here. Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not going for nothing. And a lot of these people feel like, honestly, to be real with you, a lot of these people feel like, man, they don't know where they come from, so they been here already. Like, y'all really the invaders. Because if we being real, it was a lot of Moorish people that was already down here. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you had the Seminole casinos and all this other stuff. I drive past these things every day, man. Like, it's fun. I find it pretty funny, I find it pretty funny that, you can see all these casinos and guitars and shit like that built in the city and stuff like that. And there's no hate speech, but you can see all these guitars and shit like that built in the city and stuff like that. But what happened to the 40 acres and a mule that they promised? And that shit was a fugazi. You know what I'm saying? So at least y'all can do is give a little reparation. Y'all giving out money like it ain't nothing. Then the value of the U.S. dollar is going down. It's depleting. What y'all gonna try to give it to us when it's worth like a penny? You know what I'm saying? So it's a little funny. It's a little spooky right now. You know what I'm saying? I just advise everybody to, find you a hobby, find you something that you love, and try to make money out of it. You know what I'm saying? Try to be your own boss, so you ain't got to be working day in and day out, and people be lying to you. But back to the topic, this dude was literally the first black American, you feel me, the first FBA, you know what I'm saying, to do this. Not only did he won 11 rings, but he won them consistently back to back. So he won his first ring 1957. Then he came back 2 years later, 1959, won another ring. A year later, won 1960. He won another ring. A year later after that, 1961, he won another ring. A year later after that, he won another ring in 1962. A year after that, 1963, he won another ring, bro. 1964, 1965, 1966, you know the story. All right, he went on like a little 2-year binge. My fingers broke. Man, let me relax. My fingers hurt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let these little pretty babies massage my fingers, put a little oil on them, burn a little sage in this thing. You know what I'm saying? You know how the game go. We balling. You feel me? 1968, he come back 2 years later after 1966 and win another ring. And then the following year in 1969, he won his last ring, completing him with, he's over Thanos right now. He has a ring on his pinky, on his big toe. You know what I'm saying? Because he got all 10 rings. But he got 11. This man got 11 rings. So there you have it. Bill Russell, FBA, man, did the unthinkable, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny that. So I had to put him in there. Salute to Bill Russell, man. I have to do a little bit more research on him as well, because I don't know if he's still up to, I don't know if he's still here. Hope that he's still, alive and well. I don't know how he is as far as his health stuff. But salute to Bill Russell, man, for sure. That's a legend right there. And we just man, I'm just hanging out with y'all, man. Y'all send me some videos. Y'all let me know. Y'all hit me in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel. You know what I'm saying? Also, make sure y'all hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, because that's how I can get the notifications out there. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of low-key shadow banning me a little bit. So by y'all just hitting that like button and y'all showing a little love and being consistent with it, you know what I'm saying? Just when you come in the room, you don't even gotta drop no comment. Just hit the like button. As soon as you see the page, boom, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna get out there to more people. And I appreciate that more than the donation. I'm not no Cash App fiend. You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking for y'all money and shit like that. Just take your, you know what I'm saying? Take your finger and just hit that like button, man. You know what I'm saying? Take your little stink ass finger, your little fat ass finger, or whatever you've been doing with your hands and your little dirty ass hands. Take your finger and hit that like button. Remember, they said it. Now we speaking on it. Now watching Telescope channel, man. I hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Check in.